Top calls in this year's Fringe Comedy Bingo, where punters make a mental tick each time jokes on the same subjects occur in shows, are as you might expect Donald Trump, Brexit, running through wheat fields and, more randomly, bonobo chimps. Cue filthy jokes, as bonobos, like humans, have sex for fun as well as procreation. Another on this year's card is privilege, in all its forms, as comedians examine some of today's big issues, and foremost among those who tackle race head-on is Reginald D. Hunter, an African-American from Georgia but transplanted here 20 years ago. He's therefore ideally placed to cast a beady eye on the British, as he does to great effect in Some People vs. Reginald D. Hunter Assembly Hall. He loves living here, he says, because British racists don't shoot you, and he helpfully explains why Trump is now US president and why we voted for Brexit. As ever with Hunter, a great Fringe favourite, this is a provocative hour full of big laughs, even if he occasionally pushes the limits of good taste. Acute social observer Dane Baptiste. Dane Baptiste Pleasance Courtyard rose through the urban comedy circuit and has become one of stand-up's most acute social observers. He takes a less direct route into the politics of race, talking about being a young black man in Britain in God, gold, oil, drugs, which describes our pursuit of wealth, power and pleasure. Baptiste can jump from the everyday, how job centers are not the best place to look for a date, to the inspired he uses the theory of relativity to explain the Black Lives Matter movement. Relativity of another kind with Giants, a very talented sketch duo comprising Barney Fishwork and Will, son of Private Eye editor Ian Hislop. They were born 4 days apart 24 years ago, and in Giants for an hour Pleasance Courtyard they go meta as they examine the lifelong friendship through the deconstruction of the comedy duo relationship. They appear as themselves, various people from their childhood, and intermittently as Lars and Ulrik of Fjord, a Norwegian duo who once performed at Eurovision. They invented the heavily accented bad boys, who sing songs about naughty things such as riding their bikes without holding the handlebars, as youngsters, but now drama student Barney wants to leave such childish things behind, while Will feels it's the only attachment he still has to his friend. The unequal doubly act trope is well-trodden territory, but this show is fresh, original and superbly written and performed. In film star Pleasance Courtyard Dave Johns recounts how he, a hard-working Geordie club comic, became the star of Ken Loach's 2015 polemic Daniel Blake and was catapulted to stardom despite being the least likely film star you'll ever meet. He's proud of his origins. You can spot the working class, he says, by the bits of scratch cards under our fingernails, and the show is a playful and joyful account of how he went from considering a retirement business of donkey rides on the beach to name-dropping his new best friends on the red carpet, Meryl, Nicole and Woody. It's not a polished show, but the show bears anecdotes from someone still pinching himself that it happened to him are worth an hour of your time. Declaration of Independence Sarah Pascoe at the Pleasance. Photograph Murdo MacLeod for The Observer. Ravens conjures up Kirsty Walk, Hillary Clinton, Angela Merkel and wee gobshite Nicola Sturgeon. Another bingo call this year is relationship breakups, in rather more detail than the audience is entirely comfortable with, and Sarah Pascoe in Lads Pleasance Courtyard recounts the aftermath of the end of a 4-year partnership. SHE's back at the Fringe, having written a book and done a lot of television work, and the break has served her well. Pascoe is noticeably more comfortable on stage, and this hour is more personal and less didactic than previous shows. What follows is a declaration of independence from a feminist comic dismissed by one bloke as too tampony, having happily relaunched herself as a singleton. In her view, the default setting for humans were not Twixes, were Pepperamus, she says. Incidentally, Pascoe's fellow comic John Robbins gives his version of the breakup in his show at the same venue, so you can do a compare and contrast. Running through that comedy Wheatfield is impressionist Jan Ravens, star of Radio 4's Dead Ringers and, remarkably, making her sole Edinburgh debut with Difficult Woman Gilded Balloon. Her most acclaimed impression is of Our Dear Prime Minister, alluded to in the title, frolicking vicar's daughter Theresa May, whose tremulous tones are like SHES doing her own descant. Whipsmart Jan Ravens. Photograph Roberto Ricci to Getty Images. The vast lineup Ravens conjures, including Kirsty Walk, Hillary Clinton, Angela Merkel, Arlene Foster, the sleepy Diane Abbott and wee gobshite Nicola Sturgeon, complete with her head nodding to punctuate every other word, is astonishing in its array and characterization, all done without the aid of props or wigs. The stand-up routine that links the characters isn't always tip-top, but the script, when they do speak, is whip-smart, and her Victoria Wood, in a pitch-perfect rendition of Wood's songwriting and performance style, is a clever and touching tribute. No bonobo jokes, but you can't have everything. The Edinburgh Fringe continues until the 28th of August. 0131 226 0000.